So, after a successful season in which we defended our La Liga crown, and now that the season has been wrapped up, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Barcelona to focus on the future. There is no resting on our laurels. Everything now ends after the celebrations, and it's time to focus on what is next. And what is next, ladies and gentlemen, is the 26-27 season. And for us to now go back and potentially do a 3P and potentially to challenge, really challenge for the Champions League, we must have a incredibly perfect or basically close to perfect transfer window. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar Talks Football, and welcome, guys, to the transfer show, Blaugrana Buzz, ladies and gentlemen. Big up to every single one of you. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all of the beautiful stuff. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, look, I know the transfer window hasn't started yet, guys. We still have 2 months before the transfer window, but obviously you guys knew after the end of the season that most of the attention coming into the summer would be Barcelona's transfer plans. And basically the club has been very tight-lipped with some of the, word that they're going to be, which players are going to be targeted, which positions we're basically going to be looking at, even though we've been given an inkling of some of the positions that the club might be going for. Example, the defense, right? And also, most importantly, the attack, which is something that the club have made no qualms about. And we're going to get into basically the 5 players that basically, the whole word on the corner is that these are the players that potentially Barcelona are looking at potentially bringing in. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get straight into all of it. And yeah, guys, it was basically, it came out in the media, guys. Barça Universal actually came out and said that Barcelona's transfer summer plans are basically these 5 players: Marcos Senesi, Joao Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, Marcus Rashford, and a striker in either Julian Alvarez or Joao Pedro. And look, at the end of the day, I have my own opinions on this whole situation, right? I think that, in this video, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys basically, an inkling of the players that basically we've been targeting. And let's see, how I would say these players would be, whether they would be good signings or not. And we're going to get straight into all of it. And obviously, where I would personally like to start is with Bernardo Silva. Now, as you guys know, guys, Bernardo Silva just, announced his departure. He's left Manchester City. He's now a free agent, and he's potentially, a player with, a lot of suitors, right? It's not just going to be Barcelona. We know that Barcelona have been in the past interested in bringing in Bernardo Silva. I would take you back to 2023, 2024. We were very, it looked like we could have potentially signed him. He was open to the move, but, Pep was one of those guys, Pep wasn't interested in selling him. And now that, he's now a free agent, the talks have now been coming out that Barcelona could potentially sign him. But I will also mention that we are not the only suitors for Bernardo Silva. He's also been linked to Atletico Madrid and Juventus. And also, I think there's been an inkling that apparently Benfica might also be interested in bringing him back. Obviously, he is, from the Benfica Academy. But it's going to be very, very interesting. And, at the end of the day, guys, when you look at it, right, he's not going to cost a thing. He's obviously 31 years old. He's completed a very, very, okay season. No, I wouldn't say it was a great season this season. He got like six goals and assists in 34 games, which, let's be real, is not good enough, for a level of Barcelona. But like I mentioned, right, he is an experienced head, a player that, can really bring a lot of, experience in this team. And, he's a winner also, let's be real, right, which is something I would say is lacking in a team like this, right? But in my honest opinion, I don't know how open I am to this deal, to be honest, because I just showed you guys his numbers. They're not good enough this season, man. 4 goals and 2 goals and 4 assists. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And, I'll be honest with you, 2 years ago, if you gave me the opportunity to sign Bernardo Silva, I would have snapped your hand off. 100%. I would have taken it. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, Bernardo Silva is not the same player. He is nowhere near the player that Barcelona were interested in bringing in. And to be honest, I don't think that Barcelona should go in and sign him, to be honest. I don't think we should. And it doesn't look like we are going to actually be the ones to sign him. From all of the, the buzz has been coming out is that apparently he's likely to join Atletico Madrid in the summer. So watch this space. But personally, for me, if you ask me, I would personally say no to this deal, honestly, for me. But it's not only the only player, obviously. Another player that we've been linked to who actually was playing with us this season, right? But he is actually on loan, right? But he's another one though that the club is interested in keeping, and that would be this man right here, ladies and gentlemen, Joao Cancelo. Now, I will be the first to admit, guys, when we signed him in January, I was buzzing. I don't know if a lot of you guys remember, but I was one of the people that was saying this is actually a very, very smart deal, right? He's a fullback that can play both on the left and the right, right? He's a very, very good versatile player. He had a great, loan spell in the 23-24 season. I was very disappointed we didn't sign him then. He's a player who's clearly shown he loves the club. He plays for the badge. And that is a one thing I've always said with me, right? I want players that want to play for the badge. I want players that want to play for this team. The players that understand what it means to wear the shirt. And he's a player that's never hidden his love for the club. He basically rejected a lot of money from Inter Milan in the January transfer window to sign for Barcelona. That's how much he loves this club. And every week, we see him play. He's always giving it his all. He's always giving it 100%. And for me, this is one of those deals where I'm like, yes, 100% sign him. It makes all of the sense in the world, right? I mean, listen, if you look at it, right, I know right now he's on loan, but look, his contract runs out next season, right? He's going to go on a free. And he's made it very clear he doesn't want to return back to Al Hilal. He wants to stay at Barcelona. And I don't think, at the end of the day, we could really get him for a very, very good deal. Because Al Hilal, with all intents and purposes, right, they don't want to keep a player that they doesn't want to be there. And also, at the end of the day, is you would rather get money than lose him on a free, right? So for me, I think that it makes all the sense in the world, and I think this is going to be one of those deals which we will definitely see happen in the summer, 100%. I do definitely see us signing him this summer. But let me know what you guys think. But for me, Joao Cancelo, I'm 100%. And also, like I mentioned, he is a very versatile player. He can play both on the right back position and left back, right? And he's played on both positions during this half season, right? So for me, we should sign him. I think that, at the end of the day, from the transfer value they mentioned here, 11 million. I think we could get, a better deal. We could sign him. We could sign him for maybe 10 million, right? Something like that. Personally, for me. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Sign Joao Cancelo ASAP. That's what I would say, guys. But let me know what you guys think. And as far as speaking of loan deals, let's talk about another player, who Barcelona intend on keeping, and that would be this man right here, ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Rashford. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I was not a fan of Rashford joining us, right? Even now, right, if I'm going to be honest, I'm really conflicted. Personally, for me, I think he's had a okay loan deal, right? I did not expect, him to basically be a revelation, but has he been a terrible loan deal? I wouldn't say he's been a terrible loan deal. Absolutely not. Personally, I wouldn't, right? I think he's, basically added something different to this team, right? He's very much a very different player. Obviously, I would say around the tail end of his loan deal, he started performing well, getting some goals and assists. And look, if you look at his numbers, he's not been bad at all. In La Liga this season, he's got 8 goals and 7 assists, right? That is incredible, right? Like just in La Liga alone, that is very, very, very impressive. And like you mentioned, 14 goals in 49 appearances is really not bad at all, right? At the end of the day, I think that, we need to, it's going to be very, very interesting because the club have basically made it clear that they do want to keep him, but Barcelona don't want to pay the 30 million that Manchester United are asking for, right? Because let's be clear, Manchester United are desperate to get rid of Rashford. They want Rashford gone. So it's one of those things where you look at it and you think, at the end of the day, 30 million for a player that you guys are desperate to get rid of. I think Barcelona are very, very smart and are very, very right to have to, want to lowball it, because at the end of the day, you're giving us your garbage respectfully, right? You are trying to sell us your garbage. So it's a no-brainer. I think at the end of the day, if they get 30 million for him, that would be highway robbery. But am I open to keeping Rashford? Yes, but Am I excited? Not really. I think we could do better than Rashford. I personally would prefer us to get him on another loan deal. And then if he does sign and if he does well again, then maybe we could sign him on a permanent deal. But that is just me, right? That's what I think. But yeah, Marcus Rashford definitely one that we should definitely look out for, and we will see what happens in the next few weeks. But ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about another player that's been linked, ladies and gentlemen. And now we go into positions which I am definitely interested in talking about. And ladies and gentlemen, this is one position that I'm interested in looking at, and that is the defensive position, specifically Marco Senesi, ladies and gentlemen. Marco Senesi, the man who plays for Bournemouth, he's been linked to Barcelona now for a while, right? He's been linked with us for a while. Most importantly, he's a very, very good defender. He's been pretty good, right? Last season he had a great partnership with Den Huijsen and Zabanye for Bournemouth last season. This season he's been good. At the end of the day, this season, Bournemouth have qualified for the Europa League, I would say for the first time, and he's been a rock. And most importantly, guys, he is a player. He's an Argentinian international, and also, guys, he is a player whose contract is running out this summer. Right, he's a player that we could get on a free. He could be a great bargain, and at the end of the day, if you look at it, he's 29 years old, a very experienced centre back, very, very good. Right, it's gonna be interesting to see what we do with this deal. I'm very, very much interested to see. Right, but for me, as far as Marco Senesi is concerned, I would sign him. I'm sorry, it makes all the sense in the world. We need defenders. We need defenders, ladies and gentlemen. We have to get defenders in the club this summer. I'm sorry. I know people are going to say, "Oh, we have a crowd full of defenders." I'm sorry. A lot of these defenders have to go. They're not good enough for this club anymore. So we need to look at it and try to bring in Marco Senesi, guys. That's what I think. I think that this is one of those deals that I'm definitely open to. Right? It's going to be very, very interesting to see what he does. And also, guys, if you look at his numbers this season for a centre back, this guy's got 5 assists. That is actually very, very impressive for a centre back. It's definitely interesting. But watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be one of those deals that you guys should definitely keep your eye on. And now, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've talked about some of the positions like the centre back position, the midfield position, and in the wing positions, it is time to talk about a position that we know that the club are definitely interested in fixing. And I think definitely does need attention, guys. And that is the number 9 position, ladies and gentlemen. And in that position, guys, Barcelona have lowered it down to 2 players, guys. 2 players that Barcelona are interested in potentially bringing. And I think we definitely don't look like we're going to sign both, but it's either going to be one of these 2 guys. And the first player, guys, we're going to talk about is this man right here. Now, Joao Pedro, right? He has been a player who, I would say in the last month, the link to Barcelona has really, really, really intensified, right? It's kind of a link that kind of came out of nowhere because let's be real, right? Until like last month, there wasn't really any buzz of potentially us signing Joao Pedro, but it's been, it's out there now. We know that the club are very much interested in bringing him in, right? Obviously, he just finished his first season at Chelsea. And Chelsea, they have really had a very, very poor season, finished 10th this season, right? But individually, he's not had a bad season at all, ladies and gentlemen. Look at those numbers. 31 starts, 15 goals and 5 assists. He's got 20 goals and assists in the Premier League this season for a team that finished 10th, right? That is actually very impressive. I've seen some people in my comments say, absolutely not, we don't want Joao Pedro. I'm sorry. This is actually quite an impressive numbers for a guy making his debut season, right? For a team that haven't had a great season this season, right? 23 goals and assists and 53 appearances for Chelsea this season. It's quite an impressive amount of goals and assists this season. That is quite incredible, right? And I think that a player like him, he's a player who, he's 24 years old. He's a very, very young player. He's still got a lot of years, right, coming in, right? But this is going to be one of those deals which, for me, if we can get it done, get it done. I think that this is going to be one of those quietly underrated signings. If we were to make this signing, it's going to be one of those signings that will go under the radar, but it's gonna be one of those deals where if it works out, we're gonna be looking at looking at this like one of the greatest deals that this club has ever made, because it's kind of very similar to when we signed Eto from Mallorca. Because at Mallorca, he was putting in some similar numbers to what Joao Pedro is putting at Chelsea. But then when he went to Barcelona is where his numbers really went to another level. And when it comes to Joao Pedro, I think that this guy is a very underrated player. And he's got that, he's got that Brazilian flair in him. I remember in the Club World Cup when he signed and he scored 3 goals in his first 3 games. I think he scored on his debut and scored twice. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear he scored on his debut during the Club World Cup when he arrived like a day before, and then he scored on his debut. Right? I think, was it against Palmeiras in the quarterfinals? I think that's what he did. And, like I mentioned, Chelsea have had a very poor season. If you look at their players this season, many of them have had poor seasons. Right? Guys like Cole Palmer, right? The guys like Enzo haven't really been good this season. He's been okay. He's been pretty good. He's definitely carried himself. So for me, I think that Barcelona should sign him, but it's easier said than done. Like you guys see that he's valued at 91 million. You can bet your bottom dollar that Chelsea are going to be asking for a lot of money, considering they got him on a death row deal. He's going to be there until 2033. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to break the bank, and I'll be honest, I don't think he's worth that right now. But if we can get him on a good deal, 100%, I will 100% take it. But guys, let's be real. I know Joao Pedro has been the one that's been linked, but let's be honest. Barcelona only have one dream signing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than this man right here. Barcelona, we already know. We already know, ladies and gentlemen. Julian Alvarez is the man that Barcelona are looking at as their dream signing. The club have made no qualms about it. Absolutely none. And let's be honest, right? He's the club signing. There's a lot of people that have been, putting the verdict out there of what their opinion is on Alvarez. We know that Atletico Madrid are going to sell him on a cheap. Right? He's been valued at 130 million. You can be rest assured that Atletico Madrid are going to be asking for some ridiculous amount of money for him. Right? 26 years old. Right? He's been, he's one of the, definitely a player that, people are looking at. But let's be honest, guys. If you look at his numbers this season, not impressed. 8 goals and 4 assists in 22 starts. 29 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. I'm sorry. For 100 and potentially for a player that could potentially cost us 150 million, I'm good on that, man. I'm going to be very honest. I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, this is going to be one of those deals which I'm looking at side-eyed. And also, not to mention, ladies and gentlemen, Atletico Madrid, we don't have a good track record of signing strikers for Atletico Madrid. The last Atletico Madrid striker we signed basically almost bankrupted my club. I am not sure about this. I think that at the end of the day, the club are making dreams of signing Julian Alvarez. And also another thing I need to keep in account is Julian Alvarez is not a number 9. He is not a traditional number 9. He's not a Lewandowski. He's not. He's more like a Griezmann than he is like a Lewandowski. And we signed Antoine Griezmann, right? So I don't know, man. I am not a fan of this deal at all. Personally, for me, we're going to have to break the bank to sign him, and I don't think we should. If we can get him on a bargain, don't get it twisted. I would take it. I'm not saying I would reject it, right? I'm not even saying I don't want him. But I'm saying that at the end of the day, for what it's worth, I don't know he's worth it. I don't think he is, and that's just me, right? I think the only way that we can get him on a good deal is if he forces the move. That's the only way, guys. That's what I think. But we will see, guys. We will see. Can Barcelona get it done? We will see, ladies and gentlemen. But, guys, there you go. There are some of the players that Barcelona have been linked with. Players that, Barcelona are very interested in bringing in the summer, guys. We're going to talk about other players. Obviously, there's some other players that have been linked, like the Bastonis, the Vucevic. So we'll be talking about those guys on other episodes of the Blaugrana Buzz. But guys, let me know about everything that we've said in this video, guys. What do you guys think of all the players that the Barcelona have been, the plans of Barcelona and players that they want to bring in the summer, guys? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all of the beautiful stuff. And also, guys, get in the comments and let me know, guys, some players that Barcelona should definitely be looking at, or positions that they should be looking at, guys. Let me know in the comment section below. Big up to every single one of you guys. Visca Barca. Take care.